ground up for the Switch.
It's a good. Heck, can
They
you?
didn't use the same engine from the 3DS.
You're just making this. Oh, now you're just bullshitting now. Come on. I know it's not. I know it maybe not be a new engine, but come on, a new game that is going to the Switch, and you're saying that it's built off a 3DS engine.
It is.
Oh, for star's sake. You are constipated.
In my opinion, it is. I mean, I already pre-ordered it. So, I mean, because I like 3D Metroids, but, I mean, 2D Metroids. But, I mean, come on.
You gotta be sheeping me.
No, I'm serious. It's a 3DS game.
Right.
It's a 3DS game. They ported over to the Switch.
Come on, Phil, already. Red.
It's a 3DS game. They ported over to the Switch.
Red.
What are you talking about?
Metroid 5. Metroid 5. That is a 3DS game. They ported over to the Switch.
Probably.
Now, here's the thing. I am not against Nintendo repurposing that engine. And just because I mean, that's just good business sense. But I'm also not going to sit there and say, and not call, a spade a spade. And that's they took the engine from Metroid Samus Returns, because I don't think that game sold all that well, and they were like, shit. Because I guarantee, if the 3DS, if the Switch hadn't taken the handheld market from under the 3DS, and the 3DS was still like a vibrant, strong platform, I guarantee you Metroid 5 would have been on the 3DS versus the Switch. Because it's using the same engine. It literally is using the same engine, just mildly updated. And I'm not, like, here's the thing. I'm not against that, but I'm not going to pretend like it's,
Yeah,
like,
I remember.
I'm not going to be like, oh, it's not happening. No, that's what they did. I mean, Nintendo does that a lot, so I can't. It's kind of like how they use the same engine from Link Between Worlds for Triforce Heroes. So I mean, I'm not against that, but I'm not going to pretend like, no, they didn't do it. Yeah, they did it. Yeah.
Well, I remember seeing screenshots of that game years ago. The Metroid game they just showed. Actually, I could have swore that was the rumored name that was leaked out at least a couple of years ago was Metroid Dread. That
was an idea they had for a while, and then it got shitballed because of Metroid Other M, which to no one's surprise, because that game almost killed that franchise. Combined with what was that other game? Federation Force. So, I that's just the way it is. But before we go any further, let's have everyone introduce themselves. Starting with the lady first. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
I swear, I'm gonna get on you for that one, Red. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, to the BS Professors Midweek Podcast E3 End Edition. I am Joe Wright, Eli Moonstar, and get ready for some heated debates at this point. I'm just gonna call it right now.
My name is Kenoshi Abominato, here to say E3 was trash. All in all, except maybe Nintendo and Microsoft were okay. Microsoft's conference was a bit too long. Nintendo showed you had some surprises, but like I said earlier in the text chat, I'd probably give them a B. But more on that later.
This is Mr. Red Fox. Let's dive into it. So we're covering the latter half of E3, the greater portion of it. Not even half, like more like the 75% of what was left. So I guess we have to get. I guess let's do the winner and the loser of E3 first. Who was the winner? Who had the best show?
Nintendo.
All right. Kenoshi?
I don't know. It's kind of a tie between Microsoft and Nintendo for me. But
All right. I'm gonna say Microsoft.
Uh,
Um, and before anyone starts saying, "Oh, you're just a fanboy," actually, I'm not. I will never buy a Microsoft console. I don't like the company. I don't like what they've been doing. But taking a step back from just how I feel about certain aspects of Microsoft, they did their job for this year's E3. They showed a whole bunch of games. Yeah, and yes, like Nintendo's 40 to 38 minute presentation, a lot of the shit that was shown on Microsoft there are multi-plats and things that are also hitting PC. They're not exclusives that you're only going to be able to play on an Xbox Series system. Matter of fact, I'm sure none of the games Microsoft showed are going to be exclusive to the Xbox Series X or the Xbox One or any of that. They're all multi-plats. But they did show games that, at least to me, were interesting. Confirmation that Obsidian is working on a Outer Worlds 2. Love that shit. Confirmation of when Psychonauts 2 is coming out. Love that shit. A lot of the same games that Microsoft spent 2.5 hours showing off are also coming to the Switch. They kind of hit a lot of same beads in terms of the multiplats.
like, I really like the Stanley Parables vibe that was going on with the Outer Worlds 2 teaser trailer.
I just like the fact that we're getting more Outer Worlds, because, here's the thing. Outer Worlds felt like it got cut back because it didn't have the budget to be as big as it should have been. A sequel, not to have Microsoft behind them, they can put the money behind it to make it what it needs to be. And that, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I still need to play through that game.
Whereas, on the other hand, so if I had to give a grade to Microsoft's conference, I would give it a B+. This is This is hands down the best Microsoft showing it at E3 in years, if ever. Since Microsoft.
Oh yeah.
Because Microsoft typically sucks.
I agree.
They are typically trash, hot buttered ass. I guess it took 2020 and no one doing shit for them to realize, oh wait, we actually have first party studios for games that people really want. I don't like Bethesda games by and large. And Starfield seems like it's going to be a steaming pile of dog shit. But them saying, yeah, you can only play this on the Xbox, that's basically them letting people know, yeah, fuck you if you want to play this on the PlayStation. And you don't spend $7.5 billion to let your competitors play your shit on your competitor's shit. That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Look, one of the big, not only did they just show a CGI trailer after so many years ago announcing the game, they didn't even show a conceptualized CGI trailer to give you an idea what the game could potentially be.
No, the only thing they told us, the only thing, well, it's coming from Bethesda, so I was on PC gaming.
It just works. Oh.
I was on PC gaming, and Todd Howard was talking to Washington Post about the game. He said, well, it's like Skyrim, but in space. And I'm like, well, that confirms it. I'm not going to be playing this game for 2 years until after 2 years after it launches. And on sale, too.
Although the Star Wars mod should be fun for
it. Maybe. So, but aside from that, Microsoft basically said, okay, here's some good reasons for you to own an Xbox Series X. Here's some good reasons for you to use our Game Pass. And for those of you who have an Xbox, and for those of you who have Game Pass, here are good reasons for you to have this shit. A ton of them. I would say 50% of the shit they showed were good reasons for someone to own to make people who bought their shit feel like they were happy with their investment, and for people who didn't own their shit, who are on the fence. It really kind of, they're dangling that carrot. Hey, you want to play this game on Game Pass? Because here's the thing: not everyone wants to spend hundreds of dollars buying games. For some people who just, especially the indie games that take maybe you can beat in a weekend if you really put your mind to it. Game Pass is perfect. You spend $15 a month, and you basically get access to all that content. Over the year for the price of 2 video games. Well, 15 times 120 times 12. No, it's 180. So, for the price of 3 AAA video games, or AAA last gen, because this gen everyone wants to do 70. But for the price of 3 AAA games, you get access to a huge library of games. It's a fair deal if you don't want to spend almost a little over $500 buying the console and all those games every year. So, they made a compelling reason for people to want to buy their shit and use their systems. Nintendo also made good things, but they did some things that kind of, for me, knocked them down a bit. The 2 minigame collections.
Really?
Minigame collections are lazy and easily compiled. They're not high-effort things, okay?
Talking about Mario Party?
I'm talking about the Mario Party and WarioWare.
You hate both of those series. I know that, so you can call that already.
I do. I will readily admit I hate Mario Party. And WarioWare, I'm not against it. It's just I'm fucking tired of the franchise. I was over WarioWare after the first game. I was like, okay, we get it. It's a whole bunch of gross mini games and weird mini games. Okay, we get it. And now they're like, hey, you can do it in co-op. That's a good idea. We have a deadly disease that even people who are vaccinated can die from. And you can release a game that has co-op, so I can have a motherfucker next to me who might give me a disease that can kill me. Thanks.
You're just ramming it in, aren't you?
It has to be said. You can't look, listen. Nintendo is still my favorite company. But when they fuck up, I'm not going to be like, well, they're my favorite company, so I can't say anything. I'm going to say it.
F off. This is because, if anything, this is just trying to support sociality, as in it's supposed to at least try to bring people together. Though, if anything, it may be in the wrong taste. You're just rubbing it. No. Yes, rubbing your eye in it now.
Everything can be critiqued because everything can be better. Doesn't mean that. Now, I'm not making unfair critiques, but let's look at Nintendo's thing. Okay, Tekken enters.
Really?
Tekken. They're bringing the Tekken character to Smash Brothers. That was cool. That's going to be a new meme where Akira just throwing motherfuckers into a volcano because that's what he does.
And he throws all your hopes and dreams in there too.
His big thing is that his father threw him into a ravine. And
one of the endings in Tekken was him doing the
same thing to Majima. Yeah, so I get it. Okay, yeah, I get the meme. Life is Strange coming to Switch. Don't give a shit about. Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, I'm going to keep it real. That was for the Square Enix conference, Guardians of the Galaxy was a high point for me. I was like, what is Eidos Montreal working on? This looks good.
Here's the catch, though. Yeah. Here's the catch. It's a cloud game.
Yeah, it's a cloud game. So I have zero fucking reason to own this game on the Switch. Zero. If I was going to get this game, I'm getting it on PC where I can download it. Versus on the Switch, where where it's like cloud-based. Why the fuck would I get... literally, that's the shittiest version of the game to own. Why would I get the Switch version of this game if I had other options? The price is the same.
I would say that you're right about the cloud service, which I am hopefully never gonna ever grab.
So then we get... they're bringing back Worms with this kind of Battle Royale Smash Brothers thing going on with it. It looked interesting. I prefer the more turn-based worms, but whatever. It is what it is.
It gives it more action to it.
It's a multiplayer. The all except for Tekken, all 3 games I mentioned out of the 4 multiplayer. Astro Ascending, multiplayer. I actually kickstarted that game. It is the art style is being done by one of the original Final Fantasy illustrators, so I'm quite happy about that.
What's that game again?
Astro Ascending. 2-Point Campus. It's one of those strategy simulator games like 2-Point Hospital, except you're running a school. So, yay. Monkey Ball. Now, I was excited for this. I like Monkey Ball. Really, I like the first Monkey Ball for the GameCube, and the second one's pretty good. Yeah, the 20th anniversary, you get a nice collection of those Monkey Ball games. This is what Sega should have done with Monkey Ball last year when they released that god-awful Monkey Ball game last year, but fuck it, whatever. I think this is also coming to the PC, so, I don't know. It depends on how good how good the controls are, because Monkey Ball is one of those games where the physical controls of your controller really fucking matter when you're playing Monkey Ball. Mario Party Superstars. I hate Mario Party, okay?
I called that one already by a mile.
I hate Mario Party, but hey, this for those of you who love Mario Party, this one has online play, so you don't have to invite any motherfuckers into your house while playing Mario Party with other people. Smart move, Nintendo. I'm glad you finally added online play for a series that should have had online play 2 generations ago. Congratulations, you finally jumped on the train even after most of the cars were down the track. But hey, you got on the train, so good job. Look, listen, stop acting exasperated. Listen, okay? Anyone who fucks up is gonna get it, okay? And but
I was saying that was an obvious one. Even I could call it a mile away.
I'm congratulating them on finally getting on board, but really, let's be honest, without being very comfort branding, this should have been done at least on the Wii U and 3DS.
What game?
Mario Party as a series should have had online gameplay at least on the Wii U and the 3DS.
Yeah,
maybe not the Wii, because the Wii, their online during the Wii era was very hit or miss. But the Wii U and the 3DS, there's no excuses for those systems not to have had online multiplayer. There's just no excuse, especially when, I'm not going to go here or there. But, for people who, I don't personally like Mario Party, but I know there are people who do. So good for them. They finally got online gameplay. Yay. Metroid Prime 4, not Metroid Prime 4, Metroid 5, it looks like it's built using the same engine they used for Metroid 2, Samus Returns, that god-awful remake they made for the 3DS, that was made by that studio that fucked up Castlevania with those 3 games. But this looks good. This looks legitimately good. So,
it looks like they learned.
Yeah, I'm a 2D Metroid fan. Now, here's the thing. This is just me being an impeccable bastard in terms of what it has to be just right. I would have preferred them to use the graphical engine and the engine from Metroid Fusion and Zero Mission, just because I prefer 2D Metroids that have that cel-shaded look. Keep the 3D shit for Metroid Prime, but for the 2D games, use the cel-shaded look. I like that. I like the cel-shaded sprites. Sorry, that's my personal thing. I don't like how the Metroid 2 Samus Returns, I don't like that art style. I don't like the engine. I don't like how it looks. But I already pre-ordered this game. So, look, I'm a Metroid fanboy. I got it. Even though I don't like this art style. And I stand by that. They're using the same fucking engine from the 3DS game. They ported it over to the Switch. Then we get another party game that, in the age of COVID-19, where even people who have been vaccinated can give you the shit and you can die from it. A party game where you can have people dancing, breathing hard next to you, so that their spit molecules filled with virus can get on your face.
Red.
Just Dance from Ubisoft. When they're not threatening to rape you, they want to kill you with a deadly disease. Cruising Blast looks awesome. If it's on the Switch only, I'll get it on the Switch. But if it comes to PC, I'll probably get it on PC because I can probably run it better. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I would be interested in this game
if it didn't come out everywhere else.
No, I would be interested in this game on the Switch if it wasn't running like ass on the Switch. Like, everyone who has this game on the Switch says it runs terribly on the Switch. And, I mean, like, I hope that wasn't the Switch build they were showing in that trailer, because it was chugging. It was chugga, 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 chugga. Which isn't that big a deal for RPGs or turn-based games, but if you're playing a fighting game, and it's dipping, the frames are dipping, and it's chugging. Whatever. Mario Golf Super Rush, already pre-ordered that game. Monster Hunter Stories, looks good. I just never really got into the first one. So, you know, for those of you who like it, you know, it's there for you. WarioWare Get It Together. Another fucking WarioWare game.
At least it's not trying to be so physical it makes you breathe hard.
WarioWare games are cheap to make because they're just mini game collections. And so, like, basically when Nintendo doesn't want to put a whole bunch of money by Nintendo standards, knowing how much they can, you know, make a dollar stretch, when they don't want to put a whole bunch of money into something, but they want to get something out, they'll throw together a WarioWare game, and it's just it's lazy, especially by, like, because we're used to Nintendo when they're actually putting through when Nintendo puts forth an effort, they're amazing, but when they start getting complacent and lazy, we get this shit. But then they redeem themselves with Megaten 5. And we saw more. I mean, your character looks kind of like they look like the Mazuku from Yu Yu Hakusho with blue hair. But it looks pretty cool. Am I the only one who's a little weirded out how this game looks kind of like Shin Megami Tensei 4?
What's the name of the game again?
Shin Megami Tensei 5?
No, the game.
Shin Megami Tensei 4. Shin Megami Tensei 5 looks like this. They're using the same engine for Shin Megami Tensei 4.
Oh, Shin Megami. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's probably possible. I mean, they kind of recycle their.
Yeah, it's Atlas. You would think them being on a having more hardware power, they would like try to make it look a little bit better. I guess the production value goes to Persona, and for Megaten, it's like, well, fuck you. You started all this, but Persona, fuck you. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, even though the Persona is a spin-off series, it's treated like the main series.
Yeah, like
so much more popular.
And I mean, I know Megaten has never had the same level of brand recognition as Persona, but I mean, you're putting. Why are you being so cheap? Like, here's the thing. I could understand if this was a multi-plat and it was hitting like 3 or 4 different SKUs. You're only putting it on the Switch, and it looks like a fucking 3DS game. Like, I know the Switch is not the strongest in terms of hardware capability, but there's some pretty fucking graphically impressive games on the system, so there's no excuse for you to make a game that looks this basic.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't mind the way it looks, but I probably won't pick it up just because it's super grind. Those games are super grindy.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. That's why I really wish they would put it on PC where I could cheat and give myself lots of money.
Exactly.
And level up quickly. I'm still gonna get it because I have Megaten 3, Megaten 4, Megaten 1, Megaten 2. So I'm wedded to the series. I gotta get 5 because I got all the games in the series. So I gotta make that jump.
I'll probably get the one that they ported to PC. I'll probably pick that up on a sale. But
Megaten 3.
Yeah, the remake. So it's them, Yeah.
So then they get Danganronpa, Danpan, whatever. Another minigame collection. Not really interested.
I was about to say it's about 3 full games and a mini game.
I don't care. I don't like those types of games. They don't interest me.
At least you get more than just a mini game.
Fatal Frame, which, I mean, I would be excited if that wasn't also coming to PC. Doom Eternal, yeah, Fatal Frame's coming to PC. And that's a Nintendo first-party game too, but they obviously don't give a fuck about Fatal Frame because they're putting it on PC too. Doom Eternal DLC. If I don't really like the 2016 Doom or its remake. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I tried getting into it. I mean, it's fun for a little bit, but then after a while, it just becomes
very samey.
It just becomes
repetitive.
Very samey.
Yeah, but the thing about Doom Eternal for me and Doom 2016, the Doom reboot, is that it feels like I'm playing a ultra violent version of Metroid Prime with execution moves. And I like Metroid Prime, but if I want to play Metroid Prime, I'll just go fucking play Metroid Prime. I don't want to play an ultra violent version of Metroid Prime with finishing moves. That's just me.
Yeah.
I'm a consummate Metroid fan. I like the 2D Metroids. I like the 3D Metroids. The only Metroid that I don't like is Other M because it didn't know what the fuck it wanted to be. But all of the other ones, I kind of, even Federation Force, which a lot of people hate that game, I can see some good things about that game. I think they shouldn't have put it on the 3DS. Putting it on the 3DS held it back. Had that game had a little bit more of a budget and been on the home console, it probably would have been better. But, it is what it is. But Other M is the only Metroid game that I'm like, fuck that game. The Metroid Pinball, Metroid Hunters, I like that. Those are all fun. But fuck Other M. Fuck that game up the ass with a rubber dick. Tony Hawk 1 and 2. Yay! You can play those games again. You can play the best Tony Hawk games ever again. Strange Brigade, which I kind of skipped watching that because I had a phone call and I had to take it. Mario plus Rabbids, Spark of Hope. If I wasn't on a fucking Ubisoft click, I still wouldn't get that game because I didn't like the first game, so they haven't really fixed any of the issues with the first game and the second game, so I'm not interested. Plus, I just don't like the Rabbids. Advance Wars Reboot Camp. I was really interested until I found out it was just a new version of it. Well, the first two games just kind of, redone in a new engine. It looks great. I'll probably get it anyway, just because I want to support the IP. Hyrule Warriors. I don't like Warriors games, and I really didn't like the Hyrule Warriors game. And then they showed off a trailer for Breath of the Wild 2. They also, in order to celebrate Link, before we talk about how they celebrated Link's 35th anniversary, let's compare that to how they celebrated Mario's 35th anniversary.
They had a direct dedicated to it.
Mario got a
To Mario.
direct dedicated to him. He had a toy set edition. He had Figma figurines pimped out. He had a 3D collection of his quote-unquote best games. They weren't, but I would say 2 out of 3 ain't bad. He had special DLC. He had a new game come out. You know what Link got for his 35th? Even though, let's keep it real, the reason the Switch sold gangbusters at launch was because of Breath of the Wild. You know what Link got for his 35th? He got a reskin Mario, this reskin of that Mario Game & Watch that they didn't sell enough of last year. They took the fabs from the factory and put Link's a Link skin on it and put 4 games on the shit. You get Legend of Zelda 1, Legend of Zelda 2, Link's Awakening, and the Whack-A-Mole game.
And they didn't even give you a Link to the Past.
Well, the insult to injury is that you didn't even get Link's Awakening DX, which is, I mean, if you're going to play Link's Awakening, like, the best version of that game is Link's Awakening DX. It's even better than the reboot they did for the Switch. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did you bad, Link. They did you bad. And then Breath of the Wild 2, which, I mean, like, here's the thing.
They didn't really show much.
They showed a little bit of gameplay. They showed a little bit of gameplay in the trailer. And, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm interested, but I need to know more. Because if they haven't fixed some of the glaring issues from Breath of the Wild 1 and Breath of the Wild 2, I'm not going to buy it.
Well, and they didn't show any combat.
Well, I mean, they showed some trailers of Link fighting enemies in the game. Like, actual gameplay of him fighting enemies. But, like, here's the thing. Those are just snippets. We don't, like... You know how they kind of did that in-depth thing where they kind of went in to sell Breath of the Wild? Like, and it was like, okay, here's what's going on. Yeah, here's what's going on. Here's what you're doing. No, even before the treehouse. They're like, oh, here's you getting on the horse and riding over here. They showed you actual gameplay. I don't, because here's the thing. I have put around 160 hours into Breath of the Wild. So when I say there's some glaring issues with this game, I've put enough time into it to, I'm not just saying that to bandwagon onto the shit. I'm saying it because I put a lot of time into it. If they haven't fixed those glaring issues, then I'm not buying this game. I don't care how it looks. I don't care what they're doing. If you haven't fixed a lot of the glaring issues with the original in the sequel from the original Breath of the Wild, there's no reason for me to own it. And I want to because I want to support the franchise because I love the Legend of Zelda. But if you're not gonna learn from your mistakes and just keep on doing the same shit, or be like some video game directors who are like, I didn't do anything and everything I do is perfect. I didn't fuck up. Then you've missed the point. So, to me, that's why I give Nintendo a C, because, I mean, there's a lot of things on here that are, well, I would say, let's see, there's, just for me personally, like, I'm not influencing your guys', that's your opinion, you say Nintendo want it, good for you. But for me, I can't say they want it, because there's a lot of shit on here that, it's like, Nintendo should know better.
Yeah, and that kind of line with you is like saying Anakin and Darth Vader are 2 separate people.
Like, okay, Guardians of the Galaxy coming to the Switch, but it's the cloud version, so you need a good internet connection to play the fucking game. Which is fair if you have a good internet connection. But if you're some dumb motherfucker who lives in a shitty place with bad internet infrastructure, and you have a bandwidth cap, and you're playing this game, and you basically get fucked up the ass with the bandwidth cap. So now you have a game that you played maybe 20% of that you can't play because your bandwidth cap is filled. Like, what? Nintendo's better than this. The modern industry was built by them. You're better than this, dudes. You're better than this. You're the straight A student, and now you're fucking up. Why? You're better than this.
Red, you're not helping yourself.
You know, I grew up with this company, and I want them to continue to do well.
Digestive.
But anyway, yeah. So yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy looked cool, but if I'm gonna get it, I'm not gonna get it on the Switch because it's cloud based, and why the fuck would I buy a game where it's dependent on my internet connection to play it? And not as like, oh, it's mostly online, so you need, like Splatoon, you need an internet connection to really play the vast majority of the modes of that game. So, you could say it's internet dependent, but if you don't have internet, you can still do something. This game, you can't even play the fucking game if you don't have cloud-based internet. So what's the fucking point? Worms, I mean, that's a multiplat. Astria Ascending, multiplat. 2 Point Campus, multiplat. Monkey Ball, I think that's a console exclusive, but I also think it's also hitting PC, so don't quote me on that. Mario Party Superstars, I don't like Mario Party. I jizzed in my pants at Metroid 5. Not literally, but figuratively. Just Dance, fuck that franchise. Cruising Blast, looked cool, I'm not gonna lie. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, I mean, Mario Golf Super Rush, I mean, I pre-ordered that game, so, Monster Hunter Stories, I mean, I got the first game, I tried to get into it, it just doesn't really resonate with me as a gameplay, because, I'm not really into the main Monster Hunter series. The RPG spin-off stories, I'm like, maybe it'll be good, but it never clicked with me. WarioWare, I'm tired of. Shin Megami Tensei 5, once again, jizzed in my pants. Danganronpa, don't really give a shit about that series. Fatal Frame, I mean, I know a lot of people like Fatal Frame, but Nintendo doesn't give a shit about it because they're putting it on PC too. Doom Eternal, don't really give a shit about that. Tony Hawk 1 and 2, I mean, if you really want to play Tony Hawk 1 and 2, there you go, it's on the Switch. Strange Brigade, I don't really know much about it. I heard it's okay, I don't know. Mario plus Rabbids, I didn't like the first game. I damn sure I'm not going to like the second game. Advance Wars Reboot Camp. I'm going to get it because I love Advance Wars. I love I even like Age of Ruin on the DS that was actually kind of shit. Like, it went all dark and gritty and post-apocalyptic.
That's why I call what you're saying BS.
No, it's not BS because that's only one. That's not bullshit. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. 25 games. I'm not going to include the Game & Watch as a game. There's 25 games announced here, and I only give a shit about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 20% of them. I mean, if you only give a shit, if someone shows you 25 things and you only give a shit about 5 of them, that's not impressive.
And yet all those are exclusive, I bet.
No, they aren't. Tekken is exclusive. Life is Strange is not exclusive. Guardians of the Galaxy not exclusive. Worms not exclusive. Astria Ascending not exclusive. 2 Point Camp is not exclusive. Monkey Ball's coming to PC as well.
Stop.
Monkey Ball is coming.
The ones that you were interested in were exclusive.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, they're exclusive. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, here's the thing: no one buys a Nintendo console for multiplayer. People buy Nintendo consoles for the first, for the first, second, and third party exclusives. I'm not denying that, but that's still just like for as far as we're talking about they're showing. This is one of their. This is not their strong. This isn't Wii Music bad, but it's not as strong as previous years.
Right.
So it's a C. It's not terrible. Like really, I'm gonna tell you the worst conference of E3. You heard it here, folks. Square Enix.
Oh, that was terrible.
Look, listen. Nintendo.
I'm gonna say this. Bandai Namco could top those two.
No. Well, Bandai Namco was bad, but I wasn't expecting because they blew their load. Literally, Bandai Namco is like a dude who was out fucking his woman on the side, and he blew everything he had on the bitch on the side. Then he came home and his wife was amorous, and he's got nothing. He's got nothing left. It's all gone. So literally, they blew everything they had with Jeff Keighley with his summer of games. Okay, so they had nothing to show for E3. Like, well, shit, my balls are empty. I got nothing left. So I can't really get mad. At least so they went in depth about their one game that was new. Okay, cool. I don't care about that. But Square Enix,
that's all.
like, here's the thing. That's bad. But here's the thing. Square Enix made a fucking mockery of one of the most pivotal RPGs of all of video game history with Final Fantasy Origins. They did that shit. They shit on the work of Hironobu Sakaguchi and the people who made one of the most important RPGs of all time with some bullshit like that. That's why Square Enix gets the F of the conference. They are the biggest loser of E3 is Square Enix with that Final Fantasy Origins bullshit with those fucking dude bro metrosexual dudes. I'm like, this is Final Fantasy Mystic Quest all over again.
I was gonna say, for me, it's a tie between Bandai Namco and Square Enix.
Oh no, there is no tie. It's Square Enix 100%. Because Bandai Namco was bad, but they didn't shit on anyone's life work or embarrassing or basically disrespect one of the most seminal and important games of all time.
I was saying that both were terrible. Though in different flavors. It's hard to actually pick which flavor is worse.
No contest. Square Enix. For Final Fantasy Origins alone. For Final Fantasy Origin, for them to sit and here's the thing. Here's the worst thing. They actually think people want this shit. They're like, yeah, we did a good thing. No! You're like a little kid who smeared shit on the wall, and then your parents come into the bathroom while you're getting potty trained, and you look at them like, look what I did. You smeared shit on the wall.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Bandai Namco was bad. Bandai Namco was like a D. But Square Enix, not only do you get an F, you get a 0. Which is worse than an F. You get an absolute 0.
Not even a pity point?
No.
Ouch.
Like, what they did is the equivalent of Nintendo basically going up and saying, hey guys, the original Super Mario Brothers is too complicated for most gamers. So, here's what we decided to do. We remade the original Super Mario Brothers into Super Mario Origins, but it's a first-person shooter. So here you go, folks. Enjoy. I think that as Nintendo fans, we would be like, you fucked up. Why would you do that? And so, this is what we mean by holding people to the same standards across to the standards to their standard behavior. I know that Nintendo, knock on wood, would never do some stupid shit like that. And I have faith by them having a history of not doing stupid shit like that, But this isn't the first time Square Enix has said, our audience is too fucking stupid to know how to play an RPG, so we're going to dumb the shit down so they'll know how to do it. Anyone here remember Final Fantasy Mystic Quest?
Hoping that would never be mentioned in this podcast for at least 5 years.
Well, it's back. Because that's what this shit is.
What was the question? Hello?
The question was the loser of who's the loser of E3, and I said it was Square Enix, just by the strength of that fucking shitty Final Fantasy Origin that they showed off.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. Square Enix, one of the things, not only did that Final Fantasy thing was trash. Babylon Falls, which I remember when they showed that game at one of the PlayStation events, and I saw they just had like a teaser trailer. I thought, oh, okay, that game looks pretty interesting. And then Square Enix, I guess, decides to publish it, and then they re-showed it. I was like, what the heck happened to this game? Now it looks like trash. What
probably happened? It was probably being shown on a developer kit or even just the development workstation before, and now they're probably showing it on PlayStation hardware.
Yeah.
People keep on forgetting that these consoles, Sony and Microsoft's consoles aren't consoles. They're mini gaming PCs that you can't upgrade. Or at least you can, but it's a pain in the ass to do it. Yeah, Square Enix gets the F for this year's E3. And not only, in my opinion, not only do they get an F, they get a 0 because, like, there are many ways they could have remade Final Fantasy 1. They could have remade Final Fantasy 1 with the new HD 2D engine, a la Dragon Quest 3, which would have been like literally if they had remade Final Fantasy 1 with the HD 2D engine like they're doing Dragon Quest 3, that would have been cool. I don't think anyone would have said anything. They'd be like, "Hey man, that's awesome! I always wanted to see Final Fantasy built like that." Nah, we're gonna make it to this dude bro bullshit. Fuck Square Enix. Fuck them.
Yeah.
So, to me, that was the worst show of E3. Nintendo's wasn't terrible. It wasn't great either. I wasn't having screaming orgasms repeatedly over and over again until I passed out. From either, no show wowed me to the point where I was like, oh my god, this is the best shit ever. But the only show that actively pissed me off to the point where if they were people, if I could do it and get away with it, I would love to take my thick cowboy rawhide leather belt and just go whooping people with it. But I would love to to take a belt and whoop these people's asses who made Final Fantasy Origin. They need an ass whooping.
Oh yeah.
They need that good old fashioned. Your parents are like, okay, bend over, pow, where you wind up and you get that whip to it. That wind kind of cuts it. Pow! Right on, not on their lower legs, but on that upper leg where the thigh meets your butt. Just like, pow! Just pow! They need a good ass whooping. because this is, oh God, someone needs to be fired for this shit. They need to be fired so hard, it's not even funny. But, you know. I know some people are going to get angry, but that's my opinion. To me, I think, like I said, Microsoft had like a B plus B. Nintendo had a C, C plus maybe. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Nintendo's E3 showings, some are good, some are not so good. Nintendo's never been like, oh my God, they shit the bed, except with Wii Music. That is the only time where I can legitimately say Nintendo embarrassed themselves. You know, but I mean, like I said, the problem with the Switch, they said it themselves, okay? It was in the thing. The Switch is 5 years old at this point. The Switch is selling gangbusters. Nintendo is starting to get complacent. And when Nintendo gets complacent, they start just kind of inevitably resting on their laurels a bit, which is not good for Nintendo, because when they do that, they start fucking up. Although, you know, Nintendo fuck-ups, you know, Nintendo has room to fuck up. But as a Nintendo gamer, I'm not happy when the company that I really want to support and love supporting starts fucking up. On a brighter note, Guardians of the Galaxy looks good.
Yeah, hopefully it's good.
I mean, really, Square Enix would have gotten like a C- if they had just not shown Final Fantasy Origin. They were on their way. Hey, that looks like a game I'd want to play. But then they showed Final Fantasy Origin. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? It's literally the first Final Fantasy game turned into a dude bro hack and slasher. I don't even have the vocabulary to tell you how angry I am at that game. I can't.
Yeah, they're only going to release it on mobile and Steam, which is really weird. You'd figure they would put it on consoles.
No, they're gonna release it on mobile and Steam, and then they're gonna release it on mobile and Steam, and then they're gonna port it over to PC. Cause you know what this game is, right? Like that dude in the throne room that they're fighting is Garland from Final Fantasy 1. It's literally a remake of Final Fantasy 1. That's all the fuck it is. It's embarrassing. It's fucking. Okay, I'm not gonna get in.
Are you talking about the You're talking about the collector's edition, or
no? Final Fantasy Origin is a remake of the original Final Fantasy.
Oh.
But it's a dude bro hack and slasher.
Oh.
Versus an actual, you know, RPG.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm done. I'm done with Square Enix. Except for very select games, I'm done. I can't support this shit. Here, I'm gonna look at Simone Biles in her glamour shoot to get my blood pressure down. Okay, I'm centered. And then I'll look at this cute beagle in the chat. Okay, I'm settled. All right, so on the other end of the spectrum, PlayStation fans are mad that Microsoft, who owns Bethesda and all of their IPs that Bethesda and ZeniMax held, it's now first party. They're angry that Microsoft, that spent $7.5 billion to acquire Bethesda, is making some of Bethesda's bigger games exclusive. I mean, isn't that amazing? I mean, because if we owned a multi-billion-dollar company and we spent almost $10 billion to acquire something, that we would not let our competitors have access to those IPs. I mean, how dare we? These dumbass PlayStation fanboys. And yeah, if you're a PlayStation fanboy and you're saying that, how dare they not put this game on our system? It's a first party company now. They can do that. I guarantee you, without a fact, I guarantee you as a fact that Bethesda was working on a SKU for the PS5 and the Xbox and PC. And I guarantee you that once Microsoft bought them, that PS5 version got thrown away or locked away. And they might pull it out like 5-6 years down the line to port over to the PS5 towards the end of its life cycle. But that shit ain't hitting the PS5 anytime soon. Like, I mean, you know, I would see Starfield on the Switch before you'll see that shit on the PlayStation. And I don't think you see it on the Switch either, but I know it ain't hitting the PS5 anytime soon. I tell you that much.
Oh yeah, I bet they're mad. I bet they're mad as hell when they saw that it was exclusive
they're mad.
to Xbox.
They're making Pete Hines apologize for the shit. I'm like, look, Pete Hines is a marketing guy. He does not make video games. Pete Hines is the guy that you sit there and put out front and talk shit.
You're probably like, why didn't you fight harder for this game? Why didn't you fight harder? It's like we can make money elsewhere.
I mean, I hate to break this to you.
We're not your friend.
Pete Hines is a Microsoft employee, and they write his checks now. And so if they tell him to do something, he gonna do it. If Microsoft says toilet paper, Pete Hines says roll. Okay? If Microsoft says jump, Pete Hines says how high, because they write his fucking checks. Okay?
Yeah, it's like we're making money now, guys. We don't need you anymore.
the only person who's got fuck you money at Bethesda is Todd Howard, because I think Microsoft did a combination of cash and stocks to buy Bethesda and ZeniMax.
Yeah.
But because Todd Howard, I think, owned like 30-40% of the company, like 20, like a decent amount of stock he owns. But like Todd Howard could say "fuck you," I'm leaving and cash out. But why? Why? I mean, he can continue to make mediocre games and get praised for it. So, you know, like why? They also announced River City Girls 2. It's coming to PC, PS5, PS4, and the Switch. So if you're on an Xbox, you're shit out of luck. It'll probably get ported over there eventually. Rare, who everyone said, you know, Rare's back on track. Rare's Everwild has been rebooted.
Yep.
I told you people. Look.
Yeah, this is why you don't trust CGI trailers, guys. This is why you do not trust them. This is why you look at when you see a CGI trailer, you look at it with heavy skepticism.
Well, not only that game looked like a mess because they could never tell us what it was about.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you should be able, from a trailer, you should be able to look at a trailer or even a CGI render and get some type of idea. Like, even the Outer Worlds pre-render. Okay, so at the end of in the game, like at the end of the thing, they show the avatar of your character from the first game in their colonist outfit standing on a planet. And if you play Outer Worlds, I'm not going to say spoiler because, I mean, the game is, 3 years old at this point? Let me see when the Outer Worlds came out. I'll look it up because I don't want to be a dick. I don't want to say unfactual things unless I have strong reason to believe it. It came out 2019, so it's 2 years old. So the Outer Worlds came out in 2019. It came out in 2019, so at this point, you know, it's coming up to to almost 3 years next year. The thing about the Outer Worlds is, at the end of the Outer Worlds, you discover that, like, basically the Earth ambassador from Earth hasn't, like, they keep on saying, yeah, Earth says everything's fine. They haven't received a transmission from Earth in like 10 years. And so, like, everyone's like, shit, something's going on. So it's hinted at the end of the game that the next game is going to be you having discover what happened to Earth and why you aren't getting signals from Earth. So there's like a whole bunch of extra shit that could be brought into that new game. And they kind of tease a lot of it in the trailer. But you watch the Rare Everwild trailer, and you get no information about what this game's about, what you're doing, what the plot is. Like, you get nothing. You know? And so I'm not surprised that the guy who was in charge of it just kind of said fuck it and left. And now they're starting from scratch again. It's like, remember how I said that Nintendo isn't gonna show Metroid Prime 4 because that game started, like, they had to reboot that entire game in 2019?
Yeah.
I said at the most they'll mention it just to let people know they're still working on it. I said the most you can hope for is that maybe they'll announce a 2D Metroid game. And that's about it. I was right. I called it.
Yeah.
I called it. My third eye saw the future. And I was right.
Oh, man.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so overall... So, did anybody see the Capcom event? I saw reactions to it, and that was pretty trash, too.
I saw part of it.
The majority of E3 was trashed. Like, it could have just been, like, everything could have just been a press release. Like, a lot of the stuff that they were showing could have just been a press release. Normally, or it could have been a tweet.
I would agree with you, but here's the caveat, okay? This year, none of these companies wasted a fuck ton of money renting out spaces, dropping cars from the ceiling like Microsoft did 2 years ago, wasting a huge amount of people's time. We didn't have to see anyone come out caffeine, sports, TV, sports. We didn't have to do any of that shit. Like, everyone had, like, the only two people who came out swinging was Microsoft and Nintendo. And they didn't waste our time. Like, no one wasted anyone's time except for Bandai Namco was the biggest time waster. But the most egregious, offensive thing was fucking that goddamn Final Fantasy Origin shit. But I mean, overall, I mean, to be honest with you, I prefer an online-only E3 that's more game-focused, like showing off games, which is what they did this year. Now, some of them came... Like, here's the thing, okay? A lot of these companies are going to say the reason we didn't show our big shit is because we are either A, saving it for another day, B, we already showed it at SummerSlam with Jeff Keighley, or C, they're going to say, well, COVID-19. It's like, that's the thing. You guys had the entire year. Because here's the thing. Most of these game companies have studios in places that have decent internet connection. So these people could have worked from home on some of this shit. So you mean to tell me all of 2020 you guys were just sitting at home jacking off? Just sitting in a chair, just not doing anything? Just
That's the thing. That's the thing I already figured out, that if anything, if you had to work with the C-19 troubles and you had nothing to show when things were lightening up, makes me wonder what the heck were you doing for a full year?
I'm telling you, all they were doing was sitting at home and jacking off. Because they damn sure weren't working on games.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, at least a few companies actually admitted that some things were changed due to COVID and adjusted their schedules accordingly. But if you had nothing to show, after you had
Well,
a year to prepare.
if they were gonna make a Final Fantasy Souls game, then why couldn't they just make a completely spin-off game?
Because Square Enix
I don't.
lacks any imagination. That's why.
I'm looking at it, it's like it looks like a at least to me a fun third person action game, but
I'm not.
calling it Final Fantasy. But
I'm not against that. What I'm against is, okay, if you want to remake Final Fantasy 1, then why didn't they just do what they did for Dragon Quest 3, where they're remaking it in the HD 2D engine? Like,
Yeah,
that would make
I don't
more
know.
sense than turning it into a dude bro a hack and slasher. I don't get that. I mean, look, no one is immune from me saying I don't get that. Like, okay, rather than release a Legend of Zelda Game and Watch, from Nintendo, I think it would have been cool if they had remade the Legend of Zelda 2 using
One.
a better engine and like maybe refining the gameplay so that it's actually fun to play. Like, that would have been cool. Like, hey, like, or even better, do Legend of Zelda 1 and 2 and new engines for both of them. A duology, both games, new engines, refined gameplay. Boom, here you go. $60. That would have been cool. Or hey, we're bringing over the Legend of Zelda, Skyward Sword, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Ocarina of Time, all the 3D Legend of Zelda games except for Breath of the Wild. We're putting them all on, and Majora's Mask, so 5 of them. 5 Legend of Zelda games, $70, one package, one cartridge, boom, here you go. No, we're giving you a Game & Watch. We're selling you a Game & Watch with the original Legend of Zelda 2, and Link, and not even the best version of Link's Awakening. And a whack-a-mole game. And look, I understand that Legend of Zelda isn't as big a franchise as Mario. I get it. But y'all couldn't even help a brother out like that. I tell you, Link gets no fucking respect. No respect whatsoever. He's like Rodney Dangerfield. No respect. No, I mean, he's the hero of the series, but Zelda's fucking name is on the franchise. He's the one who does all the work. She gets all the praise.
You're gonna rub that one in deep, aren't you?
I'm sorry. When I saw that, I was like, and here's the thing. I know some people, the excuse that some Zelda fans and Nintendo fans are going to say to excuse this, what I consider to be kind of a half-assed anniversary for Link, is, well, 2020, COVID 2020.
I'm not gonna give that. I'm not gonna buy that one. But
here's the thing. They knew 5 years ago when it was Link's 30th anniversary that the 35th was coming up. They should have had something planned 5 years ago for the 35th anniversary. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say this much, that if anything, I have to feel sorry for Link in so many ways, and yet the only thing I could really hope to see is at least him getting something that helps him stand out more.
okay, so I got some.
So much to ask.
I got some news for people. Some new news. Microsoft has announced a second extended games showcase for June 17th at 10 a.m. Pacific time or 1 p.m. Eastern time. That it's basically going to be the Microsoft Treehouse. So they will give more information from Double Fine, Obsidian, Ninja Theory, Rare, and more. So I mean, look, Microsoft is still this year for the first time and probably the only time, because they probably won't be able to do it next year. Microsoft stole Nintendo's shtick. They stole Nintendo's shit. I mean, we always tell them to steal Nintendo shit, but they did it. So there you go. But yeah, even Nintendo isn't exempt from, what the fuck were you people doing last year, and the year before that, and Like, I can't believe, like, they planned all that shit for Mario. Link's, I mean, like, these IPs are like Nintendo's kids. Like, Nintendo's like the parent, and these IPs are their kids. Mario got all this shit. He got a new car. He got a pony. They gave him a check for like $10,000, and Link just got a new calculator, and not even a graphic calculator, just like one of those solar powered ones you put under the light. It's like, what the fuck is this shit? You wrong, Nintendo. You wrong for Link's 35th. Do this sorry ass shit.
I mean, Mario's 35th was just next door, and this is what happens when Link gets his 35.
They even gave Mario his own fucking direct. Link, y'all, I'm sorry. Look, listen. Nintendo, you guys fucked up Link. Although, here's the thing. Thus far, from what you've shown, you have fucked up Link's 35th anniversary. Now, to be fair, Nintendo could, later on this year, have a direct showing off some more shit. I don't know. But just what they showed thus far, this is some sorry ass shit right here. I'm sorry. This is not impressive.
As much as I'm a Nintendo fan, I have to say this. Link, you got wronged in so many ways from the very start.
It's sorry. I don't know what your game developers were doing. I don't know. Like here's the thing. The Switch is still selling. You're 5 years in at this point. Now is the time to be dropping games, because the install base is big enough that even if something isn't a huge seller, just by factor of there being so many in people's houses, you're gonna sell a certain amount. So now's the time to put out, like, this is when this would have been the perfect time to say, hey, we're even my idea of the first two games, even if they remade The Legend of Zelda 2, because that game has some good ideas, they just aren't well implemented. That game being re-released and remade from the ground up, that would have been good. No, you get this sorry-ass Game & Watch with 3 games on it and a Whack-A-Mole clone.
I remember right, Mario only had Game & Watch, and it had about only 2 games if I got it right.
Yeah, but he also had all this other shit too. He had the toy, he had the Lego board game, he had the 3D games, he had the game.
Yeah, Battle Royale.
Yeah, he had the game hitting the smartphone. Like, Mario had a lot more shit going on than Link. Like, Link's like a fucking afterthought on his own 35th anniversary. And I know that, look, I understand that The Legend of Zelda is not as big as Mario. I get it. But for Nintendo, like, here's the thing. We've seen Nintendo do better. So why the fuck, like that's the thing. Like, you get mad at me all you want to, Jewel. We've seen them do better with these types of things. So why are you fucking up now? You see what I'm saying? Like, there's no excuse for it. Because it's one thing if you've never done it before, or if it's difficult, but they already have the template on how to do this. So why fuck up now? Like, I'm speechless.
I'm not trying to sugarcoat it, Red. I'm just saying that, if anything, I feel bad for Link already.
All I'm going to say is it's some sorry-ass bullshit. Nintendo, you're wrong. You knew better. You did it. And now we have to wait another 5 years for the 40th anniversary for Link to get any goddamn love. So, basically...
Mario's going to get 41st.
I know.
41st, and so, watch what happens with those two. So maybe in 2026,
Link will get the respect he deserves. But, probably not, because if they're going to treat Link in 5 years like they did this year, it's inexcusable. I'm sorry. The 35th, I mean, thus far, okay, like I said, they could have another direct, they could announce some other shit. But if this is what they were showing for the 35th anniversary for Link, is this lazy ass shit, I'm sorry. They're wrong. And no, Hyrule Warriors DLC is not a valid homage, especially to the fucking character who pushed Switch sales when the shit was first released. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Anyway, anything else anyone else wants to say about E3 this year before we move on? Nothing about Redfall replaced, Halo Infinite, Fatal Frame.
I was about to say, Fatal Frame. I'm gonna say that I'm not sure. I'm sure that you're gonna have a lot of fun with that, Red.
I'm not actually. I've never been a big fan of the Fatal Frame series. I just
Redfall looked interesting. I know it was a CGI trailer, but
yeah,
the concept seemed interesting.
I'm gonna keep it real.
Left 4 Dead 4.
Halo Infinite looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
You mean Back 4 Blood?
Back 4 Blood, which is Left 4 Dead 3.
Yeah, it's Left 4 Dead 3.
That should be interesting.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it looks interesting. I want to get that game. It doesn't quite look as good as the Left 4 Dead 2 because it doesn't have that Valve magic to it. But, you know, Turtle Rock, aside from that shitty-ass game they released that died after a year, Turtle Rock's been pretty good. So, excuse me. I drunk, like, this huge glass of unsweetened iced tea. Forgive me. Yeah, like I said, about like of like the 30 games Microsoft showed, about half of them, 50% of them, I was interested in. And I know they're multi-plats, they're also hitting PC, and some of them are hitting the Switch, but I was interested in those. But yeah, overall, I prefer the online-only component for E3. I don't think we need to go back to it being this special club for game people where they go in and have a big circle jerk about how great they are, that they work in the games industry, and we're part of a secret club and all that shit. I think it's better that it's more focused towards, giving announcements about games versus trying to appease, industry people. But that's my own personal opinion. So, with that being said, we did winners and losers of E3. Anything else you guys want to say about it? Any other? Before we move on to the final topic.
Oh, I'm not in the racing games, but Forza, I thought Forza Horizon looked pretty impressive. Like what they did with the what they're doing with the engine and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really in the racing games, like by and large. And when I do play racing games, I prefer
fantasy,
more arcadey,
more realistic.
Yeah, I prefer more arcadey.
Yeah, same there. But I just thought the graphical engine was really interesting.
Yeah, but racing games really they really don't have to racing games, especially games like that, they don't have to try that hard to look good because all you need to do is make the track look good and make the car look good. Because the crowds don't matter because you're not going to be paying attention to the crowds anyway. So what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
I was going to say, the only time you pay attention to anything would be the other racers. And those are usually the guys that have something to shove up your rear end.
Like I said, it's the cars and the track. And maybe weather effects if you want to be really cool. But, I mean, like racing games, aside from the models that they use for the vehicles and the weather effects, have never really been, oh my god, the unless you're playing a sim. And, you know, if you're playing a sim, why would you be playing a sim on a fucking a home console? Like, that doesn't make sense. If you're going to play a racing sim, you're going to play it on a PC.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who's playing a race and who's playing a simulator like that on a console?
No one.
Unless you got that super expensive um controller adapter.
Yeah, but even then, just like the nature of Sims is completely different than what you would get on a home console. And even with an adaptive controller, it's just not you're not going to be able to do it on a home console. But anyway,
I mean, that's the only way I see that it could happen.
but anyway, so our final topic is not E3 related, but what surprise announcement that if you had heard at E3 would you have been like, wow, this is amazing, but you didn't get at E3? Like, you really wanted to have it this year's E3 and it just didn't happen for you.
To be honest with you, I would actually want a game that would either I would want an RPG that would actually be from one of the former maker. I mean, one of the former EA employees, or some new RPG compilation that would actually blow some things out of the water. Not in terms of graphics, but in terms of how some of the gameplay runs. Like you get how you would actually level get EXP to spend how you want, and it will help you grow into a character that you would want, especially if you are doing certain classes. But then again, that's probably just a pipe dream of sorts.
Fair enough. Kanoshi?
Maybe not even the Half-Life series, but they completely and utterly did the old okey doke at the PC gaming show, having Gabe Newell come out and make an announcement as somewhat of a nothing burger. Maybe if they would have announced Half-Life 3, that would have broke the show.
That would have broke everyone's brain.
Yeah.
You would have seen a whole bunch of PC nerds, their head detached from their body and fly away. Like Robin Williams' head as the Moonanaut in The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. Like that shit that shit would have been like, oh, I mean, like, here's the thing. I would love a Half-Life 3. I would personally, like, you know, there's a lot of shit I'd love. I'd love a Half-Life 3. I love a Left 4 Dead 3. I love a Portal 3. But we'll never get one because Gabe Newell has an aversion to the number 3, which I don't know how he counts his money if you can't count the 3. But it is what it is. Personally, the one game that I really am kind of interested in is Obsidian's Avowed. Because from what I heard, it takes place in their Pillars of Eternity universe. It's a prequel, and it's basically something akin to Skyrim. Now, we can all agree that Bethesda makes shitty RPGs these days. Now that Todd Howard is head of creation, executive producer over there.
If you're expecting good RPGs
from
and
Bethesda
to be the same word.
Like, since Todd Howard has been in charge, the quality of their RPGs has gone downhill because Todd Howard doesn't like RPGs. He keeps on adding shit from other genres into his games because he finds straight up RPGs to be boring. And to an extent, I can understand where straight up RPGs can be boring to a lot of people, but like the games are poorly written and have bad story progression and bad design in terms of quest progression and character progression. Now, we have Obsidian, which Obsidian, even when they're halfway trying, can make better RPGs than Bethesda could ever dream of. So them making a game that's bigger than Skyrim, having the money and the budget to do it, I'm excited about that. Apparently, they're going to talk about it tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it. They're also apparently going to show more from Double Fine. I want to hear more about that. Like the Treehouse covered up a lot of sins for Nintendo, which I'm quite happy about. They covered up, like they showed off No More Heroes, and they showed off how you can recharge Travis Touchdown's beam saber.
Let me guess. It was like how it was in No More Heroes 1 and 2, right?
Let me put it this way. Every teenage boy has practiced how to recharge Travis Touchdown's beam saber at some point in their life.
I called it.
That's all I'm going to say on that. Anyway, so basically I'm looking forward to that. They showed that off. They showed off a whole bunch of shit I didn't give a shit about, like that Super Mario Party. I gagged a little bit on that shit. I'm like, fuck Mario Party. I hate Mario Party. Ugh. If Mario Party was a person, I would get Benjamin Bratt from that show Intervention to pull up to them, grab them, and throw their ass into a minivan and drive them to a location and tie them down and say, "Why are you a collection of shitty ass mini games? Why can't you do something different after years and years of iterations? Fuck!"
Do you want them to be Dokapon Kingdom?
I want them to do something different. I don't care. Just do something different. Please, for the love of God, do some different. Please do something different. Please, for the love of God, do something different. And stop being the same iterative shit it's been for years. Like it's gotten stagnant to me. I know some people will disagree.
As stagnant as the Final Fantasy series is getting now.
No, this Final Fantasy series isn't getting stagnant. It's shit, but it's not stagnant. So our final topic is unpopular opinion. We're going a little bit over, but fuck it, why not? Unpopular opinion. Who wants to go first?
I'll say it. E3 has been a mixed bag this year, but if anything, I'll say, it's at least more entertaining than the Game Awards.
I agree. Because at least I didn't have to see Jeff Keighley.
Oh boy, this is gonna be one of those times.
I guess he doesn't have an unpopular opinion. So here's my unpopular.
Wait. You cut out.
Oh, sorry. Do you have an unpopular opinion?
My unpopular opinion was that E3 was trash this year. Overall, aside from Nintendo and Microsoft carrying the show, but they didn't really have to try this year.
Microsoft tried. Nintendo just kind of coasted a little bit. They kind of coasted a little bit. A little bit they coasted.
Yeah. But I mean, overall, it's pretty dismal.
All right. Okay.
But I mean, I don't even know why. If you're not going to show anything as it pertains to third parties, I don't know why you even show up anyway.
I agree.
You could have done was just press releases or tweets.
I agree. They were like, "Hey, man, look, they showed up. I showed up. I was just following the line." I agree with you. If you don't have anything worthwhile to show, then don't embarrass your ass out there. Here's my unpopular opinion. It has nothing to do with E3. Recently, it came out from Warner Brothers that Batman can't go down on his female partners during sexual activity. Now, this is the same.
Oh, let's I gotta hear why.
This is the same character who Zack Snyder had him murdering the shit out of henchmen. Which, to be fair, if you're a henchman, you know, some of these people are bad people. But what if you're just some asshole who dropped out of high school and needed a job, and someone said, I'll vouch for you, man. All you gotta do is just hold a gun. This motherfucker kills you because you made one bad decision. Because he's a psychotic sumbitch. And he fucking gets drunk and pops pills and bangs women. Bangs 2-3 women. Apparently that's perfectly acceptable. But him being a gentleman with his female partner and becoming a cunning linguist, he can't do that. And when they were told that, because this came about because the people who work on the show Harley Quinn, the animated show that's just raunchy as fuck, they had a joke that they wanted to do of Batman popping up because he was performing. He was performing
terribly.
He was being a cunning linguist with Catwoman, and they were like, oh, this is a funny joke. This is a funny joke. Oh, you can't do that. Why not? Because heroes don't do that. And the whole time I'm thinking, well, shit. No wonder Batman can't stay with a woman. Because, I mean, first of all, you ain't no hero if you don't do that.
I'm trying to get this right. They say that Batman is not allowed to tap a female.
No, and that's what they said. They said heroes don't do that. And they said, well, why? What's wrong? What type of selfish bastard wouldn't do that for their female partner?
I was about to say.
Well,
it
turns out they're trying to sell Batman toys. But here's the thing: what kids are watching a rated R animated series with Harley Quinn?
Excuse me. Did I hear that answer right?
And here's
the reason why he ain't getting any is because no kids are watching. I mean, the kids are watching.
Because they want to sell toys associated with Batman to kids, and heroes don't apparently go down on their girlfriends. And I'm like I was like, well, that explains why Batman hasn't had a stable relationship with any woman, because you aren't a hero if you don't do that to your girlfriend. I'm sorry. You can't expect to keep your girlfriend for a long time if you can't do that. So no wonder Selena Kyle left his ass, and all those women just stayed long enough to know what he was about and got the fuck out of there. Because if you don't do that, you ain't gonna have your girlfriend for long.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
Yeah, Warner Brothers said that, like, the executive who was okaying their use of these characters said that this is funny, heroes don't do that. And when they were asked to elaborate, they said, well, this shit's about merchandising and toys. And I'm like, yeah, but you guys are missing an entire thing, because here's the thing. Most people who are buying action figures aren't kids. They're adults who have extra disposable income. Because kids ain't got money, okay? Kids don't have money. And I know some people are going to say, when I was a kid, my parents gave me an allowance. Guess what? That's your parents giving you money. Sometimes for shit you do, sometimes just because, they don't want you to be broke. But you still, kids don't have jobs. Kids don't have money. Okay? Adults have money. Those are the people who are buying, toys and action kits and all that shit. So I'm laughing because, they're like, well, we can't do that. I'm like, what? It's fucked up, man. So my unpopular opinion is this. My unpopular opinion is this. In Warner Brothers, in a universe where we have a Batman who murders the fuck out of random people, almost killed a man who was trying to save his mother from a psychopath in Batman v Superman, is a real, like, Batman and Batman v Superman is a real piece of shit. Like, the Zack Snyder vision of Batman is a total piece of shit. Even the Matt Reeves version, we all saw that trailer where Batman just Batman beat a man so bad that his friend, who wasn't even getting his ass whooped, started crying. Do you know how bad an ass whooping has to be where you aren't even getting hit and you start crying? That's the type, but that's acceptable. But a dude gently performing oral on his girlfriend can't do that. Man, get the fuck out of here, Warner Brothers. Anyway, that's my unpopular opinion. Warner Brothers is full of shit, and they need to get their shit in order. Anyway, that's my unpopular opinion. That's the end of the podcast. Anything you guys want to pimp out, show off, talk about, mention? Any game you guys are like, yeah, this game's really good. You should play it, or else.
Very funny, and if anything, I'm basically looking around right now. But if anything, I'll let you know if I find something. At least that isn't already on my radar.
All right, Kenoshi.
Still been playing Guilty Gear Strive. Still a pretty good game.
Yeah.
Check it out when you get the chance.
All right. This is Mr. Red Fox, owner-proprietor BS Busters. I have a game that I'm going to hype up, even though I've hyped it up before. I'm going to hype it up again. I'm getting near the end game, like the 50%, 60% endpoint of Biomutant. I'm enjoying this game a lot. And stay tuned, because soon I'm going to come up with my top 5 things I wish to see in Biomutant 2. I'm going to do that video.
Mentioned already.
Well, I mentioned some of it, but like this is going to be a video by itself on the channel where I'm going to be going over. Because when I said that, that was like just stuff that I've been seeing while playing it. But now that I'm getting further into it, unlocking more things, a lot of those issues are being taken care of. So, you know, it's one of those things. Anyway, So look forward to that. So rate, comment, share, subscribe, and